Dean Martin was never simply a voice floating through the radio or a smile caught in the rim of a cocktail glass. To the public, he seemed to move through life without effort, worry, or consequence. His charm appeared instinctive, his humor unforced, and his music had a way of softening the sharp edges of heartbreak. In the golden glow of mid-century Hollywood, Dean embodied a kind of success and joy that looked effortless. A man who appeared to know the secret to enjoying life while the rest of the world struggled to keep pace. Yet behind that image was a life shaped by discipline, patience, and quiet endurance. What audiences saw as ease was, in reality, survival honed into style. A man who had mastered the art of hiding his vulnerability behind laughter, timing, and melody. A childhood marked by difference. Born Dino Paul Crecchetti in 1917 in Steubenville, Ohio, Dean grew up in a household rich with Italian language, warmth, and tradition. Outside the home, however, his accent set him apart. Schoolyards and classrooms often reminded him that difference could be met with teasing, a lesson that would quietly shape his understanding of people and the world. Music became his sanctuary, a place where he could express emotion freely without worrying about how it would be received. The piano and the songs he sang became more than entertainment. They were refuge, a way to bridge the gap between the boy he was and the life he wanted. Early lessons in hard work. By 16, Dino had left school and stepped into the working world, navigating jobs that tested both his strength and resilience. He labored in steel mills, boxed for extra money, and took on whatever work would keep him going. The physical demands were relentless, yet they taught him lessons no classroom could offer: endurance, patience, and respect earned through effort. Every early morning, every sore muscle, and every shift that seemed endless shaped a young man who would later carry himself with an unshakable calm. It was in these years that Dean learned how to persevere quietly, an ability that would become central to the man he presented to the world. Learning the power of people. While working as a blackjack dealer in smoky clubs, Dino began to understand human nature in ways that textbooks could not teach. He observed how people laughed, relaxed, and connected, noticing that charm came not from force or dominance, but from timing, warmth, and empathy. Singing returned to his life as Dino Martini, and he tested his voice in clubs where audiences often seemed indifferent, more focused on their drinks than the music. These experiences were humbling, sometimes painful, but they were also formative. Each night, whether met with silence or applause, taught him resilience, the subtle art of connecting with people, and the value of persistence. Reinventing himself as Dean Martin. Adopting the name Dean Martin was more than a professional choice. It was a reinvention. He softened his image, refined his sound, and began again with quiet determination. Success did not come overnight. There were nights when his voice filled the room, yet barely registered with the crowd. These moments could have discouraged anyone, but Dean used them as lessons. He learned patience, humility, and self-control, understanding that recognition often follows quiet, steady effort. Each performance built a foundation that would later allow him to stand fully in the light when the world was ready to notice. The partnership that changed everything. In 1945, a young and unpredictable comic named Jerry Lewis interrupted Dean's act in a New York club. What could have been frustration turned into opportunity. Their chemistry was immediate and electric, and soon they became the iconic duo Martin and Lewis. Together, they blended music and comedy in ways audiences had never seen, feeding off each other's energy and spontaneity. Fame arrived quickly, offering Dean something he had rarely felt: visibility. For the first time, he was not overlooked, not ignored, and not waiting for recognition. The partnership, however, came with its own challenges, as public attention often favored Lewis's wild energy, leaving Dean in the shadows despite his undeniable talent. Standing on his own, his. After years of performing alongside Lewis, Dean made the difficult decision to separate professionally in 1956. The risk was enormous, but the reward was self-realization. No longer part of a duo, Dean proved himself as a solo performer, both in music and film. Dramatic roles, such as in The Young Lions, demonstrated his range and depth as an actor, while his music soared with hits like Everybody Loves Somebody, surpassing even the Beatles in popularity. These moments were more than professional milestones. They were affirmations of his own talent, cultivated patiently over years of effort and refinement. Las Vegas and the Rat Pack. As a member of the Rat Pack alongside Frank Sinatra and Sammy Davis Jr., Dean helped shape the entertainment capital of Las Vegas. On stage, he appeared effortlessly relaxed, joking and singing as though everything came naturally. Behind the scenes, however, he maintained careful control over his performance. The drinks were sometimes just apple juice, the timing carefully practiced, and the persona of carefree charm was the result of meticulous understanding of audiences. Television shows, including The Dean Martin Show, allowed him to reach homes across America, securing his place as a familiar and comforting presence. Valuing family and home. Despite fame and public adoration, Dean treasured simplicity and family above applause. His second marriage, lasting nearly 25 years, provided a sense of stability he deeply cherished. He loved his children profoundly, though he sometimes felt the quiet pang of time lost to a demanding career. These personal moments were private, carried with tenderness and care rather than shared publicly. In family life, Dean found the peace and connection that the stage could not provide, nurturing relationships with the same care and discipline he applied to his art. Tragedy and quiet reflection. In 1987, Dean faced the devastating loss of his son, Dean Paul Martin. The death profoundly affected him, softening his humor and dimming the spark that had been his public hallmark. Rather than seeking distraction or performing through grief, Dean chose stillness, valuing presence and reflection over spectacle. He withdrew from public life, focusing on quiet routines and the simple joys that brought comfort. Golf, familiar television shows, and time with family became central, and his calm demeanor reflected a life spent learning how to endure with dignity, embracing peace in later years. As his health declined due to lung cancer, Dean opted for comfort and grace, prioritizing moments with loved ones over treatment or public attention. Surrounded by family, he spent his final months quietly, often holding hands, listening, and sharing small exchanges of love. These moments were deeply human, far removed from the stage or the spotlight, yet filled with presence, care, and reflection. Dean's life had always balanced public charm with private depth, and in these final months, that balance became a gentle, enduring testament to who he truly was. A quiet farewell. Dean Martin passed away on Christmas Day in 1995 at 78. While the world celebrated outside, those closest to him gathered quietly, honoring a life that had given warmth, humor, and joy. In Las Vegas, the city he helped define, lights dimmed in tribute, a subtle but meaningful gesture in a place known for spectacle. It was a quiet thank you to a man whose life had blended performance and humanity, humor and restraint, charm and depth. The man behind the legend. Dean Martin's life was full of contrasts. A public icon who valued privacy, a performer whose ease was forged in hard work, and a legend who endured personal loss with quiet grace. His story is one of adaptation, endurance, and emotional intelligence. He showed the world how to make joy look effortless while navigating the challenges of life with patience and poise. Behind the smooth voice, effortless humor, and iconic presence was a man who had carefully learned to survive, to love, and to endure. A lasting legacy. Today, Dean Martin lives on through his timeless music, films, and the sense of comfort and joy he left behind. His voice continues to soothe, his humor continues to charm, and his presence, even decades after his passing, still feels close. His life reminds us that behind every smile is a story, behind every performance is dedication, and behind every legend is a human being navigating life with care, resilience, and grace. Every time his songs play, they echo that enduring truth. Everybody really does love somebody, sometime.